I said something like, I just wish I knew who he cheated on me with. And this girl's response was, I know who he cheated on you with. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Destiny and I would love to have you as a subscriber. In today's video, I am going to be recording a story time, and this story is going to be titled, My Boyfriend Cheated on Me with My Friend. So if you guys are interested in this video, then continue to watch. And if you're interested in what I eat in a day videos or even makeup related videos, because I do tend to do my makeup as I'm saying these stories, then continue to watch and subscribe. And I'll give you guys a second to subscribe. Okay, yeah, let's just get straight into the video. So I just want to start this video off by saying that I am getting married very, very, very soon. My fiance is not my first like boyfriend or anything like that. So I've learned a lot from my past relationships, even though they were like middle school, high school relationships, you know, little kid relationships, whatever, childish. It's crazy because all I ever wanted, like growing up, and like I was just like, I just want a wedding. Like I want my husband and I want to have kids, and I just want like a good husband. I'm literally grateful for the good, the bad. I'm grateful for all of it because it has put me in the position that I am in today. This is a story about my boyfriend who cheated on me with my friend and how I found out. And we're gonna call him Brian. Now, quick backstory on Brian. I'm like clearly prepping my face and everything, but anyways, quick backstory on Brian. Brian was a really nice guy, honestly. He was very nice. We were super young to begin with, but Brian was super nice. And it's just so crazy to me because Brian was the one boyfriend, even if it was like a young boyfriend that I had, Brian was the one boyfriend that always made me feel like, I don't know, like he always had my back. I always wanted a boyfriend or husband, should I say, now that I'm about to get married, that no matter what was gonna like protect me. And it's crazy because my ex, I don't know if I named him Nick, Brandon, whatever. Let me see, because I have his name written down. Nick did not make me feel like he protected me whatsoever. Nick made me feel like if something ever went down, Nick was not gonna have my back whatsoever. Like Nick was low-key a punk. Sorry, Nick, if you're watching this. Brian was one that he very much like was a protector. I'm like venting before the story, but I start to think to myself sometimes, first of all, these brows look crazy, but I'm not doing them until my wedding because I want them to like grow out a little bit. And yes, they look crazy, but we're gonna work with what we got. A lot of concealer to cover up those extra hairs. And with that being said, Brian, welcome to your tape. I was like, let me try this 13 reasons why. Because at this point, I feel like this whole me recording my videos, I feel like I'm making it like my diary. So yes, Brian, this is your tape. And clearly Brian is not his name. I will not be using his real name because yeah, why would I do that? So let's just get this video started. This video started with me being in the 8th grade. Now, I'm gonna just say this real quick so you guys know. I don't know if I've ever mentioned this before, but I was very much not allowed to have a boyfriend, but obviously I had a boyfriend behind my mom's back. I'm gonna name my friend who Brian cheated on me with, we're gonna name her Becky. And no disrespect at all. So Becky, if you're watching this, no disrespect, but yeah. So me and Becky, we were cool, and I met Becky, I want to say I met her in the 8th grade. I don't remember having Becky in my class in the 7th grade. We weren't best friends, but we were cool, like, you know, acquaintances, well, friends at the moment. Becky was very much loud and obnoxious, and no disrespect. What the hell? That's what I get for talking about Becky. We decided one day with the other girls from our class to go ice skating. Now, this is something I think that like all the other girls would do, but again, my mom was like super strict, so she really wouldn't let me go out like that or anything. So I think I had to like beg her to go ice skating with these girls. I don't even remember, to be honest. So it's so crazy because I'll get to it. I just remember something. I literally just remember something, but I'll get to it. This day, we were gonna go ice skating. We all met up in one of our friends' houses, and then we were like, okay, we're gonna go ice skating. And I was like super nervous. And also, it was like one of the only times that I was going out. And I was also going out with these group of girls that weren't my best friend. My best friend, I don't know why she didn't come with us, but she didn't come with us at the time. Do you guys like my Marvel shirt? Isn't it cute? I got it in, where did I get this shirt? Five Below, but I got it a while ago. On our way to the ice skating rink, let me tell you about this ice skating rink. Everybody from the city I was from would go to this ice skating rink. And I think this is like the first time I ever went to it, honestly. But everybody from the city would go to this ice skating rink, at least at the time. I don't even know if it's still open. So we get there. These other girls I was going with, they already knew how to ice skate, but I didn't. So I'm getting my shoe on, and we're like, clearly, I want to ice skate with somebody. I want to hold somebody's hand or something because I don't know how to ice skate, but whatever. So we're starting to ice skate around. The funniest part, this is not even the part I was going to tell you guys, but the funniest part was that in this moment, while we were ice skating, I saw Nick. Now, this is like one of the first times I ever saw Nick in person because if you guys don't remember, watch my other story time about the girl he told me not to worry about, and about my boyfriend cheated on me and my best friend knew, or whatever. I talk about Nick, and Nick is my ex, but this is the first time I ever seen Nick in person. And it's funny because at the moment when I saw him, I was like, oh, he's kind of cute or whatever. But this story is not about Nick, but I just wanted to mention that this day I actually did see Nick, and we were in the 8th grade. But he went to a different school than me, and he was actually dating this girl, which is the girl I talk about in the story time about my boyfriend cheated on me, and my best friend knew. I talked about this girl, and at this moment he was dating this girl or whatever. But I just wanted to say that. We're ice skating, and I really don't know who I'm ice skating with, but I know I'm ice skating with somebody. And I catch this boy, and this is Brian. I catch this boy looking at me. And this boy was he was cool with Becky. And he came in, he's like, oh, hey, Becky, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And him and Becky, like, they're, like, playing, like, play fighting. Well, not, like pushing each other as they're ice skating. But I kind of got the vibe, like, oh, like, she likes him. Like, you could tell she likes him. But, like, he was cool, but he didn't, like, I didn't think in the moment, like, he liked her. I don't know. Because he literally asked her, who's this? And it was moi. And he's like, oh, who's this? And she's like, oh, this is Destiny. Like, leave her alone. Don't mess with her. Like, okay, who's this kid? He's cute, but I don't know. I just didn't really pay mind to it. I was more worried about me ice skating and falling. So he's like, oh, hi, Destiny. My name is Brian. I almost said his real name. Well, in my head. And I'm like, oh, hi, whatever. I'm like focused on skating. I'm like, oh, hey. And I used to be very shy growing up. I think I mentioned that in other videos. But yeah, I was very shy. So he's like, do you want me to teach you how to ice skate? And I'm like, no, it's fine. Like, I'm fine. But so I was like holding on like to the sides. Like, is it the railing or whatever? I was holding on to that. And he's like, oh, it's fine. I'll teach you. Like, come on. So he's like, teach me how to ice skate. And he's like, oh, do this, do this. It's funny because this is who taught me how to ice skate. And honestly, he was so nice. Like, he really was so nice. And he's like, don't be nervous. Come on. So he's like, oh, hold my hand. And I'm like, what the hell? If my mom comes to this ice skating rink right now and sees me holding your hand, she's going to kill you and she's going to kill me. Like, are you crazy? So I'm like, oh, no, like, it's fine. And he's like, no, come on, hold my hand. I'm going to help you. I'm going to help you. Whatever. We end up holding hands and we're ice skating. He doesn't really say much to me. So then we leave. I just can't stop thinking about Brian. I'm like thinking about Brian. Mind you, I think I had met him like during like winter break, if I'm not mistaken. I didn't go back to school right away. So there was another time I went ice skating and we were with my best friend this time. And again, Brian was there and I had told my best friend about him. I was like, oh, I like this kid. His name is Brian, but I don't know his real name. Like, I really didn't know his real name. And little did I know his real name was Brian. And my best friend was very much like, she's the type of girl that, like, she's like, if you told her you like somebody, she would go up to the person and be like, hey, Destiny likes you. And it was so embarrassing. She used to do that all the time with everybody. Like, if you like the guy, she would, like, hook you up with the guy. Like, it was bad. It was so bad that as I got older and me and her stopped being friends, I was like, how are you guys gonna like get to me like now? Isn't that sad? That's like weird. But I literally thought that one time. I was like, how am I gonna get a guy now? Like, I'm so shy. And how am I gonna get a guy without my friend like putting me on to the guy? That's insane. Anyways, we went back to school. Now, my best friend was on a mission to get Brian to ask me on a date. Well, not ask me on a date. Ask me to be his girlfriend. Because back then, there was no such thing as going on a date. It was either you're my man, well, you're my boyfriend, or you're not. Like, we're not dating. Like, are you my... Well, we're not going on dates. You're my boyfriend or you're not. And again, we were super young. My best friend ends up seeing Brian. I saw her in the hallway, and then I saw her talking to him. And I was like, oh my God, this girl, whatever. We end up leaving school and I'm like, what did you do? And she's like, girl, Brian's gonna ask you to be his girlfriend. And I'm like, I was gonna say her name. I was like, girl, I'm not gonna even say her name because her name, she could have a story another day. Your tape will be coming out soon. So I'm like, oh my God, girl, are you serious? No, I'm nervous. She's like, yeah, he's gonna ask you to be his girlfriend. Like, don't worry, it's coming, it's coming. Girl, I never wanted to be his girlfriend. Like, not saying that I didn't want to be his girlfriend, but I didn't ask for this. Whatever. Moral of the story is Brian comes. He asks me to be his girlfriend outside of school. I say yeah, and we start dating. And this whole scene of me and Brian dating, it's going to be very short and simple because, again, we were super young. So me and Brian, we dated, and it was like we saw each other like not much. Like, it really wasn't much. Like, I would have to tell my mom I was going to the park with my friend for me to see Brian. So whatever, we dated and we literally only tap kissed. That's all we ever did. You see this? Me kissing my hand, that's all me and Brian ever did. So whatever, I was dating Brian. We talked a lot through AIM. Remember AIM at the time? You guys remember that? We talked a lot through AIM. One day, Brian, I don't know if he aimed me or he whatever, or he called me. He ended up telling me that he was going to DR. And I said, all right, why are you going to DR? Because it was like in the middle, like it was not like vacation for the students yet. So I asked him, why is he going to DR? He said, because I believe it was that his grandfather had passed or he was like sick or whatever. So he ended up leaving and I was sad. So he leaves to DR, and I'll be honest, while he was at in DR, I barely talked to Brian. Like literally, like never talked to Brian. One day Brian hits me up and he basically breaks up with me through message. I don't know, through AIM or something. And I'm very sad about it. Once Brian came back to school, it was completely different. Like, completely different. And I'm like, what the hell? Obviously, his grandfather, I think, had passed away. So I was distraught. Like, I'm telling you guys, I was distraught about Brian breaking up with me. Like, I was sad as hell. So we were in school, and I'm like sad. Like, everybody's like playing, or I forgot. Like, it was a day that we were like having a chill day in class. And I'm like sad, and I'm like kind of to myself in class, sitting. I literally remember I'm sitting on my in the table, and I'm like by myself, whatever. I didn't even think I had my phone on me. I don't know, because my generation at the time, we had phones, but it's like we couldn't be with the phones in school or whatever. So I'm like sitting by myself, and this friend, Becky, comes up to me, and she's like, Destiny, come over here and like come play with us, come be with us. And I'm like, oh, like I don't really like care for that right now. Like I'm kind of sad. Mind you, I'm going to this girl to like for her to comfort me. So she's like, what are you sad about? And I'm like, you know, Brian. Oh, I forgot to mention this. When he broke up with me, he eventually did end up admitting to me that he broke up with me because he cheated on me, and he felt bad about what he did. So he didn't want to be with me anymore, and he didn't feel like he deserved me. Sorry, there was like a little fuzzy. He didn't feel like he deserved me. So yeah, that's what really made me sad. It wasn't only him breaking up with me. It was the fact that he had like cheated on me or whatever. So Becky's like, oh, Destiny, what's wrong? And I just said to her, I'm like, honestly, I just want to be to myself right now. Like, I don't want to be with anybody. Like, I'm fine. She's like, but what happened? Like, what's going on? So then I end up telling her, I'm like, you know that, what's his name? I was like, you know that Brian went to DR? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, yeah. And whatever, while he was in DR, we barely talked. Like, you know, he couldn't communicate. I don't know why. But I was like, we barely talked. And he ended up admitting to me Well, then he ended up breaking up with me. And when I asked him why he broke up with me, he ended up admitting to me that he cheated on me and that he felt bad about what he did and that he didn't want to, like, you know, string me along. So it's just best for him to be alone at the moment. And I said something like, I just wish I knew who he cheated on me with. And this girl's response was, I know who he cheated on you with. And I'm like, what? What are you talking about? You know who he cheated on me with? And she's like, yeah, I know who he cheated. Like, legit, she was just like, yeah, I know who he cheated on you with. And I'm like, girl, who? Tell me how this girl fixes her mouth to tell me that the girl who Brian cheated on me with was her. When I tell you I was in shock, girl, when I tell you that this girl had me like, well, it was like this because it was on this side. I was like, and she's like, yeah, it was me. I didn't, and you know what was my response? I was just like, what? She's like, yeah, we kissed a couple times. Yeah, you know, I liked him first. So yeah, it was me. The girl he cheated on you with was me. And yeah, we did it. Not we did it, but we kissed before he went to DR. So yeah, he cheated on you before DR. So basically, he continued to talk to me and he had already cheated on me, obviously. And then she goes to the other side of the room and just continues to, you know, play with the other friends, whatever the hell they were doing. Bro, I just sat on that chair. I literally didn't say anything. I was just like, what? Yo. I'm like, should I fight her? should I just get up and punch her right now? And I'm like, I was in shock. And I was like, oh my God, I have to tell my best friend. But my best friend loved to fight. Like, my best friend truly she fought for, like, that was her sport. Like, she fought for a living, like, honestly. And I'm like, I don't really want her. Like, I was such a nice person, nicer girl. Not saying that I'm not anymore, but I was such a nice person that I was just like, I don't want Becky to fight my best friend or my best friend to fight Becky because of something that this stupid dummy did. So I actually didn't tell my friend right away, but I obviously eventually told her, and she's like, that girl's so fake, whatever, blah, blah. I ended up telling, what's his name? Brian, that I knew what he had done with Becky, how he kissed Becky, and that was so messed up how he would do that with my friend. And he's like, oh my God, I can't believe she told you. Like, are you freaking serious? And I'm like, yeah, she told me. It's crazy how she told me. Can you see the glow? I was like, it's crazy how she told me and you didn't tell me. That's so messed up. How would you, like, even though, like, me and Becky weren't best friends, but damn, girl, you were my homegirl. Like, we was cool. And he was just like, oh my God, it was such a mistake. I regret doing it. Trust me, if I could take it back, I would, blah, blah, blah. Like, they're always regretful. That's basically the story. I'm not even done with my makeup, but let me just keep on talking. So we ended up dating that summer before high school, right? Because we dated in 8th grade. So we ended up getting back together that summer before high school, but we could barely see each other because, again, my mom was super strict. I was not going to be able to hang out with my boyfriend. Like, that was not going to happen. So he, like, complained about that a lot. He was like, oh, can we hang out? And I was also very shy. Like, I think I could have hung out with him and said to my mom, like, I'm going to the park, but I never did it. One day, we're talking and we're like boyfriend and girlfriend again. And he hits me up and he tells me that he's breaking up with me again through a message. And I'm like, what happened now? Like, you know, I was like excited because I'm like, we're going to go into high school. Like, we're going to be able to hang out more, whatever, you know. So I'm like, why? What's going on? And then he goes and posts a picture of him and like this girl. Mind you, never met this girl. I don't know who this girl is. This is the summer before high school. I'm like, who the hell is this girl? He goes and posts like a picture of him and this girl. And I think they were like kissing or something. And I'm like, mind you, we're boyfriend and girlfriend. He had literally just broke up with me. And I'm like, So I'm like, who is that girl that you just posted on Instagram? I'm not, Instagram. Instagram wasn't even a thought at the moment. I was like, who is this girl that you're posting a picture with? And he ended up saying, I cheated on you again. And I did things. I don't like to talk about that on my channel. But he's like, I did things with this girl. And this is like my boo and everything like that. Like, and I was like, what the hell? Dude. Again, I was distraught. I'm like, damn. I'm like so upset. I'm telling my brother about how Brian cheated on me again and how he's posting this girl and whatever. I was sad. Whatever. I ended up going to high school, and freshman year, I see Mr. Brian, and I'm like completely now, I'm like over Brian. Like, not only did you cheat on me in 8th grade with one of my friends, now you posted this girl on AIM and make me look so dumb, and then say like you don't want to be with me anymore, that because I wasn't the type of girl that was doing things whatever with him. So he was like, oh, you don't want to be with me, I'm gonna like basically be with this girl, whatever. That relationship lasted maybe about a week. I didn't even know who the girl was. I'm over Brian. Like, Brian could literally kiss my butt. Like, all jokes aside, Brian could kiss my butt. I was over Brian. I really was. And I was in high school, and there was new cute guys. I was like, Brian who? Brian would see me, he would like, you know, try to joke around me. But then there was this girl that was in my class that ended up talking to Brian. And I was like, oh my God, this guy, out of all girls, her. Like, I don't know. It was so crazy because Brian was such a nice guy to me. And it's crazy because should I pop up should I pop up the messages? Should I? Because I have the messages. I don't know if I'm gonna pop them up, but if I do, it'll be right here. And even he admitted it. Brian was so nice to me. Like, when it was me and him, he was so nice to me, so sweet. And then with these other girls that he would date, it was like, this nice guy is dating this girl? It was very weird. Or like, he cheated on me with this girl. It was very weird. This girl, mind you, I don't even know if she knew that Brian was my ex or whatever. But this girl ended up, like, this girl that was in my class ended up saying something about like she's talking to Brian and like she likes him so much. And I'm like, Brian is dating you? How do you go from me to her? What? No shade, but it was like very much like, I don't know, it was very, very weird when I heard that. And after I heard that, I was like, yeah, Brian is... Anyways, sophomore year was the year that I met Brandon and I met Nick, and like officially met Nick. Everybody kind of knew, like, if you know from my story, you know, me and Nick were friends at first, and then boyfriend and friend, whatever. Brian ended up finding out about Nick and me, like, being friends and kind of talking. And he asked me, he's like, do you think like Nick is the one, like, for you? And I said, like, yeah, I like Nick. You know, he's cool. He's my friend and we have a good relationship or whatever. So yeah. And he's like, all right, as long as you're happy. If you're not happy, if he messes with you or anything like that, like, let me know. I'll fight him, you know, type of stuff, whatever. And the funny thing is, after me and Nick, like, officially, like, started, like, talking, like, getting into about to be in a relationship, Brian hit me up, and I just found these messages, but he hit me up and he was just telling me how, you know, he messed up with me. He regrets what he did to me and how he wishes things were different and all this other stuff. He literally had hit me up, like, I want to say like 4 or 5 years ago. I was already with my fiance, but he hit me up through Facebook to see how I was doing. But now I see that he actually erased his I think it's Facebook and his Instagram, because we had each other on Instagram, but then he deleted me, and then I think now he erased it. Whatever. More of the story and the end of everything, like the end of me and Brian, was him just telling me that he regretted what he did and he wishes that we could start over, and he wished that I wasn't with Nick at the time, and how he just hopes that Nick treats me right and all this other stuff. Obviously, me and Nick didn't work out. But more of the story is that I'm grateful for all my experiences. I know my worth. I know what I will deal with and what I won't deal with. And I know that what I deserve. I'm happy I experienced dating, you know, other guys before dating my fiance. As for Becky, I wasn't the only girl Becky did wrong. Even though Becky just kissed my man, or maybe they did more, I don't know. I never forgot about what she did, but I was just like, we were still cordial, whatever. Fun fact, like Becky, when I started dating Nick said to me, oh, Becky's like my cousin. And I was like, oh my God, what? I was like, what do you mean Becky's like your cousin? And he's like, yeah, my mom and her mom are like really best friends. And she's basically like my cousin. And I was like, oh my God. I was just like, oh my God, Nick, are you kidding me? Freaking Brian, I almost said Brandon. Brian cheated on me with Becky. And now you're telling me that Becky's like your cousin? And then I started to think, oh my God, if I end up with Nick, that means Becky's going to be in my life forever? Oh, hell no. I'm grateful it didn't work out with me and Nick, because Becky being in my life forever would have been horrible. I mean, it would have been a good story for my kids. This is a good story for my kids in the future when you're seeing this. But I was just like so upset. I was like, oh no, this girl cannot. Oh my God, this is a nightmare with this girl. If you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll be back with another video. Maybe next time that you see me, I will be married. Who knows? I don't know. We'll see. Thank you guys for watching.